Having a real chat. I think sometimes as adults, we think that certain issues we dealt with in our childhood and as teenagers that it automatically goes away when we turn a certain age or when we enter adulthood. Like we don't have to worry about low self-esteem. We have to worry about rejection or those memories of abuse and trauma. Like, hey, we're adults, we do what we want to do. Like, hey, just automatically go away. And it's a teenage problem. That's a child problem. They have to deal with that. But we know that when we don't deal with things from our younger years, those things go into monsters when we come out of us. And you can tell. You can tell through people's actions and how they navigate relationships, how they navigate their careers, how they even navigate just even their own personal lives, how they treat people, how they treat themselves, that they still have to deal with the rejection that they felt growing up. Or even for some people, even I would say in the corporate world, how they felt rejected from teammates, managers. And some may say that, hey, you got to toughen up, that shouldn't bother you. But it does bother people when there's a seed there. When there's a seed planted there, that's what is really pushing down to go in those directions. That's what's pushing down to be held back by their own emotions, their own hurt, and their own pain. And this is not to really put nobody out there because I'm in my own journey, overcoming the rejection that I dealt with growing up and even in my adulthood. And, that came in different ways because I think we think rejection is just a surface level thing that's just low self esteem or a person just they looking down all the time or they wearing, different clothes. Well, I won't say different clothes. They're not really made up, a certain way. Oh, they got rejection issues. But it's deeper than that. And I just give one example that we all know so well. When we decide to entertain the wrong type of relationships, when we just push ourselves to be in connection with people we know are not good for us, but because we don't want to be lonely or because we don't want to be the person that don't have anybody, we don't want to be the person that stand out, or you may feel that being single is a sin or something like that because sometimes we make it like that, but we don't really think that some people really deal with rejection. And if we keep just we're saying that singleness is something wrong with you, you're single by this age, or something wrong with you, a divorce. We gotta understand people. We gotta understand that people deal with things. So these type of conversations you have to have with yourself. Like really sit down and pinpoint where that seed is at, pinpoint where the start of that cycle is, and just get some help. Start on that path of overcoming that. And this is not to say that, okay, you're crazy because you're dealing with it, but it's just that we can find ourselves in just the worst of situations because we don't deal with things. And we think it's okay to just continue to just walk along that path. Like we think it's okay that hey, because you talk to people a certain way, because how you were taught to growing up, that you think that's your personality and it's not. Or, how you're just going through this cycle of men, like you always think the same type of man. Regardless if they have money, regardless if they have a degree, you think the same type of man with the same type of character, the same type of behavior that all thing they're doing is changing faces. Like you're still dating the same type. And you have to just sit back and just ask yourself why. Why and I'm still going in that direction because here's the thing. I get it that people, we all do should desire. We all should desire, a great prosperous life. Like we do want to see, want to have healthy and whole relationships. We want to be healthy and whole ourselves. But even just wanting to have that desire and not put nothing, um, no action forward, with that desire, then it's just a thought that we're having. Like we're not trying to put ourselves in positions to enjoy those type of healthy relationships or be healthy whole ourselves. We're not putting ourselves in the right type of positions to do that. And I get it that sometimes when we talk about certain things like this, I would say jealousy, comparison, envy, rejection, that it's like sometimes we may add a little shame to it because we think it's just those just petty things, but those are monsters. Those are monsters. If you had worked in any place with people, you would have seen those monsters just walking around, crawling around all over the place. Because when you don't deal with things, it grows into that. So take the time out to just deal with that. Take the time out to talk to yourself about that. And for me, yes, that's putting that in prayer, because I believe you just bring everything to God. God knows all of us. He knows us inside and out. And we don't have to lie about anything. I know we think we do, and we think God just have no clue about how we're living in our childhood and what happened. God's seen everything. Even now, because I can feel almost tears about to come to my eyes because I understand that sometimes we feel like we have to hide this and we have to just cover it up like we're doing makeup. Like we don't need to say anything because your eye does, it makes you look weak, but it doesn't. You can talk to God about this. If something hurts you, something bothers you, you can bring that to Him. He knows all of us. He knows the reason why we do certain things. Now, we can say one thing out of our mouth and we can say we're doing this because we care and we really do love this person. But on the inside, rejection is telling you, hey, I have to be connected to somebody. Hey, I have to be around people. I have to be in a relationship. You know, we don't really we have to understand the truth about things. We do. And that takes having hard conversations. And I just wanted to put that out there because at some point, we have to just take time to really examine ourselves and to examine where we are in life and to examine why we're at that stage of our lives. And that's not a bad thing. You may be at a good place in your life and you can just still examine yourself there. Like, okay, how do you get to that point? Because you may have dealt with rejection issues before, and you may have came to a place in your life that you overcame them. How did you do that? How are you maintaining that? That's all. That's part of adulthood. It's really is part of adulthood. It's just growing, maturing, refuse to stay the same. Because I really do like to see people, to live a whole life like you're walking in wholeness. And we all know that. Okay, well, I know not everybody know, but for me, because of my relationship with God, I know that starts with Him. I know that starts with Him. I know that starts with Christ. And I know we sometimes make this like a surface level thing. We don't go deep into that, like how Jesus can break you free from things. Like we don't go deep into that. So that was conversation I would like to also have to, just on here, just to talk about it. So this is just, just a short chat, just a short little message word, just to put out there because I get it when we have like certain oh, I can't say the word. When we have certain worldly events or global situations, things that take place, people are on edge about prices and things like that, that that can end up kind of give you insight into how you really doing on the inside. Because some of us, we truly can believe that lie that we're not going to make it. We can believe that we're not going to succeed, not because of what's going on the outside, because that's just a trigger, but because what we believe growing up. And even, I want to say this, that even in certain cases that we also have to reconcile things, reconcile what happened, especially when it comes to just, with job loss, or maybe you didn't succeed, in a career path that you were on, or it can just be family stuff that you did feel rejected, like your family didn't truly appreciate your difference. And I know altogether that can hurt as well because when you feel like you have to always put on a face, a mask, well, another face, a whole mask. You always have to put on different identity just for people to accept you. Then, it's like it's just a tiring thing. It's a tiring thing. And I know that goes back to getting to know people. That's what a relationship is. Because just because you grow up in the house with somebody, it doesn't mean that you know them. You have to really get to know them. You have to really form that relationship. Because just saying that we're brothers and sisters, or that's my parent, or that's my child, it doesn't mean anything if I don't take time to build a relationship with them. Because the only thing it just says we're just related by blood, but we don't have a relationship. And that also don't mean that we hate each other. It's just that we had to take the time to get to know each other. That's what it is. That's part of, just this whole human relationships. And that's I say, when it goes back to just with God, when we learn how to form that relationship with Him, that just it sets the standard of how I need to do that with people around me, how I need to do that with other people. Because I think we want to do that, backwards. Like we want to get people's approval and we want to get their opinions on things. Like I said, it's nothing wrong with advice, getting wisdom, but it's like we hold their opinions above God. Like we hold their feelings above His. And sometimes we even hold the devil lies above God's word. Like we'll believe the devil more than we believe God. We'll believe his lies. We'll believe what he has to say. And we'll have a whole conversation, devil. And when it comes to God's word, we'll block that out. Like we don't want to hear good sound preaching. You know what I mean? Good sound doctrine. Like we don't want to hear his word. We rather hear the lies. And that's a problem. That's the issue. Because it's like believing my enemy over someone that's generally my friend. And that's really what that is. Like I believe the enemy first. Like you'll believe the abusive boyfriend. You'll believe I would say the crazy girlfriend. You'll believe the friends that betrayed you over people that really were using good sound judgment, or people that truly care about you. We all can admit to that. Maybe not everybody, but some of us can admit to that. That we'll believe the people that are not good for us over the people that were good for us. Because it's like we're so comfortable with the lies. Because the truth, only thing that truth does, that when people say it hurts, it just breaks the lies down. That's what it does. And it hurts that you can believe a lie about yourself and about people around you for so long. And when the truth come along, it just breaks all of that down. So hopefully you got something from this. And if you want to add something to it, of course, feel free to put in the comments. Right now, my comment section, I think sometimes I have to go into the app to read anything else. Sometimes come to my phone, and sometimes it doesn't. So if I don't read it, that wasn't, because I didn't feel like doing it. It wasn't because of that. It's just that sometimes I see it, sometimes I don't. So, yeah, be good.